Good morning. If anyone can hear me, we'll get started after the pre-rolls so that we don't get interrupted. Yay. But good morning. You're doing okay. Trying to remember where. Good morning, Dust Plague. Hi. I don't. Good morning, Fullbuck. Wait, do I know you? Hold on. Dust Plague, I haven't had caffeine yet. If we do know each other, I'm blanking on your screen name. So please give me a reminder. And if you are actually new, hi, welcome. And for anybody that's stuck in ads, we'll get started after pre-roll. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Your name sounds so familiar. God, I'm gonna feel like an ass as soon as you tell me. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Wait, no. I think I remember you now. Hold on. let me double check something. I just don't recognize your screen name. Yeah, Dusk, I didn't recognize your screen name with the underscore in it. Hi, Dusk, how are you? No, I remember you. You're the one that gives me all the good puns. Hello. How are you, sweetie? You did! And I forgot to look at it, and I had a feeling that I would forget, because I always usually forget things like that. Sorry, I'm eating a cookie. Hi everyone. Let's move on over, now that ads are done. Hello. Sorry, I'm trying not to chew into the mic. I had a couple of chocolate cookies. You can see. I'm on my little plate. This is my breakfast today. But they're not loud or anything, so if you have misophonia or any amount of it, one, if it does pick up on the mic, please let me know. But otherwise, it really shouldn't. They're very soft cookies. Dusk, you literally have an underscore in the middle of your name, and I've not seen you in here before. You can't give me sass. You can't give me sass. I'm old. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Fulbaka. Good morning, Dusk. Good morning, Ezra. How are you all? I hope you're doing well. Today, so setup may look a little plain right now, but today I am going to do some sketching. So basically just kind of like some thumbnailing for, and kind of conceptualizing the next painting I want to do. I know what I want to do for it, but I just kind of have to figure out like how I want certain perspectives to be. There's like two that I'm debating between. And once I start kind of drawing, you'll be able to see kind of what I mean by that. So there's like kind of two main perspectives I want to play around with and test out with. I zoomed in the camera for now so that you can see it. That's probably not going to take a full streaming session, but also I am on my period right now, so I'm giving myself the grace of like being able to tap out at any time if I need to, energy-wise. But if things do go well, I don't need to tap out, then we'll do an underpainting, which is always, I think, fun to see, even though it's just me putting a bunch of color on the canvas. I think that's really fun. This is going to be mostly, so this is going to build on some of the things that I learned from the hand study. And not only there being hands, but there being kind of playing with not using black. So this is going to be a predominantly dark painting with some glowing elements in it. But the darkness I'm going to do as a very, very, very rich teal as opposed to black. And especially because the main glowing elements I'm going to put in there are red. And it's going to be very different for me because I don't do red paintings, I realized while I was looking through some of my paintings and trying to start thinking about how to turn them into prints. I was like, oh, I never make red paintings. I like red, but it's not, it's like my, like if I had to pick a favorite color, red would never be it. And usually, like when it comes to clothes and stuff, I prefer a burgundy. It's a beautiful color. I love it in flowers, in plants and things like that. But yeah, and I was like, well, why don't we do a red painting? So, red painting. And how that red painting is going to work is that I'm going to be practicing lighting effects and like making something appear to be glowing even though I'm just using acrylic. But it is going to be mixed medium because what I'm also going to do is have some sections that have layers of Mod Podge on them, and as the Mod Podge is starting to set, carve into the Mod Podge and then interlace. I'm still deciding what I want to put in there, if I want to put pastel dust in there or if I want to just kind of like do a wash of acrylic over some of those surfaces. So that's a thing that I want to play with as well, and it'll have like a kind of 3D texture to it. But all that is well and good. First things first though, we have to sketch. We have to sketch so that I actually know what the hell I'm painting and I'm not just wasting a bunch of paint and painting over my canvas 5 million times trying to figure out what I want to do. So yeah. Oh, okay, about the fiction. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for coming in. I hope you enjoy the music. If you need any audio balancing between my voice and the music, please feel free to tell me at any time. I'm always happy to adjust those, especially because I don't really have a great way of knowing. Oops, sorry. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm just adjusting some of the lighting, making it a little bit prettier for y'all. Wow. Ripping my apartment apart, apparently. There we go. Oh, a little overhead light. That should be nicer. A little clearer to see. Nice. Thank you, Fubuka. Thank you. Okay. So that looking, yeah, looking okay. And then let's try my seatbelt. Sorry, baby. I don't want to scare you. It's okay. You can have your toe back in just a second. There you go. Okay. You can go back. You can go back. Where'd you go? Hi. Hi. There we go. That should be good. Hi, Alan. Have a good lurk. And have a good Friday morning. But yeah, so overall, premise of the painting, right, is that there's going to be, here, I'll do just kind of one down here of like, there's going to be kind of a cut or a slit in kind of the middle of the painting. Actually, I just wanted to use blue and then, no, it's okay. This is just kind of getting the idea down. So there's going to be like a slit in the back of the painting. There's going to be a figure walking out of it. directly transposed to it. And then there's going to be a path here with flowers underfoot, making up the path. So this is just kind of a rough thumbnail. Hi, Corvid! Oh, I would say the music is a tiny bit too loud. Yes, of course. Adjust it down a little bit. Give it about 30 seconds and then let me know how it is after that. Yeah, it's GBA music, so it is going to vary in volume from track to track, unfortunately. It is my favorite generation, though. Okay, so shaft of light, but it's actually just kind of like an opening in the back, so I'll probably have it bleeding up to the top. With a little bit of space over it, depending on which perspective I end up choosing. Person coming out of it, row of flowers that will be illuminated from the back, so they're all going to have backlighting because it's all going to be lit by, everything in this piece is going to be lit by this central source, basically. So everything else is going to be kind of in backlight, with midtones and stuff like that defining it. And then this is going to be the more complicated part, and the part where I might do some more carving stuff and do like a mix of flat and 3D. Is that because I seem to be obsessed with painting hands lately, because my first painting had that, the first painting that I did on here had that, the last one did, and this one is going to be no exception, because what I want to do is have hands coming out from this doorway in the back and just be like streaming out. Just tons and tons and tons of hands streaming out. I don't necessarily want them to be going towards the figure, so that's a thing that I have to try. And then what I'm gonna do to prepare for this once I start like really sketching things in is that I'm gonna take pictures of my hands in many different poses and use that as the reference for the hands. So I'll just make a collage of hands eventually. But yeah, I'm also trying to figure out what perspective I want these hands to be coming from to kind of make them visually interesting composition wise as well. So like that's a thing as well. And if I'm feeling really frisky, maybe I'll make the hands be light sources as well. We'll see. Because that could be really fun. But yeah, filling up the rest of the canvas with hands. And I'm thinking too, like, how much should I have hands dividing up this central pillar, if I should or not. So yeah, right now, this is what thumbnailing helps with, is that it helps you kind of figure out, like, these questions about what do I want to do with the composition at the end of the day, right? Like, how do I want this composition to work? And it helps you figure it out without wasting a bunch of paint on the canvas. Though, I mean, like, even when I thumbnailed my last painting, let me see if I can find it. Like, even when I was doing thumbnails and sketches for my last painting that I did, it mostly kept to the one that I ended up keeping, which is this guy. These were itty-bitty thumbnails, but there were some things that I ended up changing, kind of like on the fly, once I actually got to the painting. But it was still a lot easier to try to tackle the canvas with a plan, as opposed to just like freeballing it. Hello, Steve. Good morning. Have a good lurk. Good luck with work. In reference to Burgundy, hey, you're Edward to the shine. I'll never be a prosecutor. Never. You cannot make me. Even though you fell into some kind of alternate fucked up dimension if I become a public prosecutor. Absolutely never. So yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of hands there, and then what I'm planning to do with the Mod Podge is I'm gonna put the Mod Podge in these areas here. At least that's the plan right now. Should be for the flowers. No, it'd be cooler for the hands. I'll stick to that. And then, so the Mod Podge is gonna go onto these areas, right? Some of the hands I'm gonna keep flat. Some of them I'm gonna carve out. And then some of them, the ones that get carved out, basically what I'm planning to do is like make a layer of Mod Podge so that I create a divot when I carve into the Mod Podge that I can then do a wash of paint over. So like, let's say there's these little divots here, and then when I do a wash of paint, it'll leave not those divots filled, but if I do a thin wash, it'll actually be an uneven coating of those divots. So it'll end up kind of going into different spots on them. And so that's why I'm drawing it out, to kind of like show you why I would even bother with it. So some of the more shallow ones might fill up, but then the other ones will have uneven kind of coating of that 3D space, and so it'll have like this kind of warped feel to it that I think will be cool, but we'll see. If it's not cool, whatever. We're learning. Any mistakes in art are always a chance to learn. So yeah, this is going to be red. I don't know what I'm going to make the figure. I don't know if she needs to be a contrasting color or not. Or something, you know, a little bit more visually interesting. So unknown what color she will be. And then yeah, all the hands are definitely going to be red though. Because I almost wonder if like maybe the only things are red are that, and then everything else is kind of using some of that stuff that I learned from the value study, and just as like the teals and such. So like this background is gonna all be teal, right? A really, really, really deep teal that looks almost black. And then all of this, so the flowers and the girl could all be teal as well, and I'll use like tones of that teal to make the mid-tone and the shadows, right? And then there will be backlight of red. Which I just realized is very Satalis, but you know, we love Satalis here, so. Always happy to be inspired by very good artists. Yeah, and then, yeah, okay, I'm liking that, I'm liking that. See, this is what thumbnailing is. This is the fun part of thumbnailing, is like going like, okay, I've had this idea in my head for a while, how am I actually going to execute on it? So yeah, some of these hands will be flat, some of these will be ones that I carve into the Mod Podge. The thing is that I'm trying to make sure that's not, like right now, the way that they're coming out is kind of like a ballooning shape. I also don't want the hands to necessarily be threatening either. Like, I don't want them to be coming at the viewer, you know, like it's not that kind of a horror piece. But that's always a kind of tricky thing when you have like a big thing like this, is like, how do you make it not too asymmetrical unless it's on purpose? And then like, how do you balance out the composition to keep it interesting? So trying to figure out like, and that'll be a thing that I figure out with the hand posing too, once I start doing reference photos for that, is like, what are interesting shapes that don't convey a sense of menace towards the viewer, right? I kind of want more of a sense of like, the hands are probing, searching, like exploring out. They're kind of eager to get out, but they're not necessarily a threat. And that's the kind of horror I like best, actually, is the unknown and the wild and the untamable, but not necessarily interested in hurting you. Horror, it could hurt you, but that's not its purpose. So yeah, just kind of thinking of like how to do maybe some smaller ones that are coming out so that we can also make a depth of field through the execution of the hands as well. Because otherwise it'll be really hard to establish that depth of field with just the one figure and the flowers. So, like, and I think it would be really cool too if, like, these flowers are kind of a mid-tone, right? Because they're kind of, like, the most illuminated by this shaft of light, and then the rest of it is flowers, but they're, like, more and more hard to see as you get away from that strong source of light here. So it's gonna be a lot of lighting practice. Oof, that's gonna be that's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a fun challenge, but it's gonna be a challenge. But yeah, and then maybe having some hands that are like gripping at the sides as well. That kind of a thing, you know? Hi, Griswood. Hi, Apple. Hi, Heck. Arting with Ale. Hello. Estoy bien. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien, bien, bien. Mejor que ayer. Yesterday I was definitely... God, I was like mostly bedbound. I was at my desk for like a little bit. And then I got so queasy I had to lay down. I was being very stubborn again, and I refused to take a nap during the day because I was like, no, because then I'll be up super early. And then my body was like, haha, joke's on you. You went to bed early, but then I got up super early anyways. So if there's some folks that saw me around like 3 or 4 in the morning, yes, you did. Yep. That was my body being a jerk. But then I got some more sleep, which is why we started a little later than I usually do. But yeah, doing much better today. But like I said at the beginning, I'm giving myself the grace that, like, if I start to really flag in energy, I will tap out early. Hopefully I won't, but if I do, I'm not gonna push myself because none of you want that. None of you want me to do that, and I know, but I feel okay right now. So, took lots of meds, tried to rest a whole ton yesterday, and was in bed like 80% of the day yesterday, and I hate days like that. I hate yeah, after stream, the weather seems to be cooperating, so I will probably take a walk around my neighborhood. So it'll be a good day. I'm being gentle with myself because it's been really stressful these past couple of weeks. Last Saturday we got summer saving time. Oh yeah. My condolences to everybody that got their daylight savings just this past week. Plus horror plans. Have you watched Scavenger's Reign? No, I haven't. Applesauce, what is that? Let me know. Also, if you all can hear me eating cookies on the mic, please let me know, because I don't want to trigger anybody's misophonia. And I'll just eat them during the break. Corbett, I really like that. Listen to your inner chat. Oh, also, for folks that were here, is it 2 streams ago? I did it? Yeah, like 2 streams ago where I was pinning up the GoFundMe for our friend Globzo. Globzo's GoFundMe did get fully funded, so good job everybody. If you helped out with that, thank you, thank you, thank you. Globzo's gonna get treatment, and we love that. Okay. This is the concept, though. I'll raise it up for you. That's a concept, right? So, I have the concept, but what I really want to figure out is that I have two ideas for what the perspective in this piece could be, and those two ideas are completely different in how they would be executed, so I need to choose one or the other. One is that, so let's think of it like a camera, right? We have this scene here, and I think just looking at this head on would be really visually kind of boring. And so I was like, when I was in and out of sleep last night, I was like obsessively thinking about it. Turning the scene around in my head over and over again. So like, I do want it to be centralized like this. The big shaft of light and things like that. It does divide up the canvas in a way that can potentially flatten the whole image and make it visually not that interesting, even though the things inside it are cool. So, what do we do about that? We think of ourselves as a little camera. So, we got a little camera. That's you, chat. You're a little camera today. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. Here you are. You're a little camera. Oh, here, I'll make you an old-fashioned camera. Or one of the, like, big Hollywood cameras. Here you go. You got little leggies. So, look at how cute you are. Chat cute. Chat cute. Yippee! I am Bananas. Hope you're well. I should have Portugal, UK time zone. Oh. Ugh. Time is so weird. It's an animated show about a team of people stranded on a planet. Ooh. That sounds cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, look, chat, you're a cute little camera. So I'm thinking we have this scene, right? And there's two perspectives I think could be really interesting and fun to paint. One would be kind of an overhead. It'd be like kind of somewhere around here. Would be like the focus. And then you're looking down. And so we'll draw that up here. Just kind of do a rough rectangle for a canvas. I keep clutching my pen incorrectly, and that's bad. I'm gonna stress out my hand. And I need to just stop gripping it so hard. Alright. So we'll draw the above. So we'll do the from above here on this side. And, oh, thank you for the follow. Hello, hello. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Oh, wait a minute. Digi, is that you? Hello, Digi. Hola, Digi. I'm thumbnailing for a painting. Welcome in. It's you! I hope you are having a good day. So yeah, we'll do one that's kind of a perspective of being like from here and looking down, right? It's like here and like here. So you're like right here looking down and in. And then we'll do one over here. That is so below, because I'm that kind of a bitch. But that one, the camera is kind of like here and back a bit and kind of looking up at everything. So yeah, one, I'm gonna try figuring out the perspective of like if the camera was coming in from above on the scene, and then the other one I'm gonna try out is the one where it's below, which is the one I'm kind of leaning towards now, but but I'm wondering if I'm leaning towards it just because, right. Because that's the one that I can visualize the easiest. And then we should also figure out the flowers as well, and do some flower sketches. So maybe we'll warm up with some flower sketches as well, because why not? And also, I can show you all my cool book. Where is it? I actually have another book about the language of flowers as well, but this one I think is my most fun one. Because of course I have a book about the language of flowers, why wouldn't I? The complete language of flowers. Make sure that you all can see that. There we go. I am very prone to just doing marigolds. If anyone saw my blue sky this morning, I actually posted up an old painting I did of marigolds going through the sky. Ooh, hiccup. So marigolds are pretty easy for me. Like, I just drew one right away. I also love them. They're like one of my favorite flowers of all time. I want to get them tattooed on me. But there's some, well, actually, I don't know. That's not marigold, but they're very marigold adjacent. But also, maybe there's a different flower we want to do. So this book is really cool because, yes, it has the flowers. It's done by scientific name. So you do have to sometimes, like, look up the flowers in the index and then find them, because they're going to be listed by their scientific names, which is, I think, really cool. I mean, I think, like, does it make it a little bit harder to use? Yes. Does it look badass? Yes. Oh, like, here you go. The Latin name for Venus flytrap is Dionea muscipula? Ah, Dionea muscipula. Maybe muscipula. I guess it would depend on if it's like Greek or Roman, if it's a hard or soft C. But, or ancient Roman versus, or like, sorry, Latin. Anyways. I think it would be the hard C, like Kikero, Muscipula, but yeah. So it has the meanings of them. It has a kind of bullshit possible powers. I think it's cool to read. I don't know. I do like it when it talks about like historic usages of it, of like poisons and medicines. That's cool. But yeah, sometimes it's kind of bullshit. Like, possible powers of a Venus flytrap is love and protection. How? Bitch, how? But I do like the symbolic meanings, and I do like that it usually has some folklore about it as well. Or just like facts. This one is actually facts. Although there are a few naturalized areas of plants growing in some specific U.S. areas in northern Florida and New Jersey, the carnivorous Dionea muscipula is native only within a 60-mile radius surrounding Wilmington, North Carolina. So how's them apples? But the other cool thing about this book as well is that if you go to the index, not only does it have them listed by common name, but also I love bibliographies. Like, this is great. This is great. This is great. Because it's like, whenever you see a bibliography, it's all like, and here's the next books that you're gonna get. You little bookworm. Like, let me say something nicer. I've already sworn enough this morning. Saucy this morning. But yeah. Here's the common name index, and then here's a cool one. Come on. Let me show the cool thing. Flower meaning index. So if you're just looking for, like, I want a flower that says I hate you, you can look it up in the index. If you want a flower that says, "You're my bestest friend forever," you can just look it up in the index and then figure out what flower it is. So that's cool. I think that's cool. This book seems so fun. The powers could be an inspiration. Yeah, so that's the cool thing, right? Like, the powers are kind of silly, but, like, they can be really inspiring. So I think it's a really cool book to have for just, like, inspiration. And I've definitely have used it in a lot of creative projects now. No bibliography, no good. Exactly. Exactly. There must be a bibliography, otherwise, what's the fucking point? Show me your research! I'm a research whore, so I love doing research on things, and like the second that I reach something that I'm trying to use as a source and it's not telling me its sources, I'm just like, I despise you. I despise you. You're a farce. You're a fraud. But I love going down research rabbit holes. But let's get back on task. Jingling the keys. Ale. Ale, get back on task. So let's find what meaning I do want. So I said I don't want them to be menacing or anything like that. So there's a couple of candidates that we could have for the flowers, right? Like, I could just choose marigolds because I love marigolds. But, like, what if I wanted to try a different flower? What could we look at? We could look at... We could look at desire, because they have a desire to escape out. We could look at dreams if we just wanted flowers that signified a sort of dream state. That could be good. That could be good. We could... There's fascination. Fascination could be interesting. I like that. There's hope, but I don't think that's going to hit the right note that I want. Longevity, love. God, look at the section for love. Like, here's like one section here, and then love is like this big. Love at first sight. There's so many love at first sight ones. Just silly, but I don't know. It's kind of sweet. Misanthropy. Oh my god. Money. I wish. Resurrection could be interesting. But I don't want the piece to get like a religious tone to it. And then we could look at some of the ones that mean horror as well, because that could be fun. Zeal. Zeal? No, not zeal. Not zeal. Uncertainty, maybe. No, okay. What we're gonna look up then is, we're gonna look up the horror flowers. And we're gonna... What was the other one that I really liked? Oh, we're gonna look up the dreams flowers, and I think probably dreams is gonna be where I end up going towards. But let's see. Okay, it's around 96. Also, it doesn't have page number. You have to go by the index number of the flower. It's a little confusing at first. There is like a guide to how to use the book, which I think is really funny. Okay. No. So this is the thing too, is that as we go through these really quick before we get back to sketching, there's gonna be plants. And we don't need plants right now, we need flowers. Well, flowers are plants. You know what I mean. Don't sass me. You can't sass me while this song is going. This is a song of anti-sass. Ooh. Jacunculus vulgaris. That is pretty, but I don't think that's going to read well. 360. Oh, here, let me let you have a better look at it. So that one is just like a very spiky... Oh, it's a lily. Okay. And then said, what is it? 360. So this part of the show is looking at a cool book together. To Game Boy Advance music. Eupatorium. Also wouldn't read well. So I have to think too, right? This is a pretty big canvas that I have, but these flowers are going to be really small. And so something like a marigold would read pretty easily even from a distance and not being small. But some of these other ones are a little too intricate. And so it's not even a matter of like, oh, it would just be a pain to make that many. It's just that it just wouldn't read as what it is from the distance that we're going to be as the viewer. You know, these are the things to consider when you're planning out a painting. A fantastical painting. Once I kind of figure out which perspective I want to do too, then I'm going to do some mock-ups to photograph and have as reference as well. Ooh, Mandragora. Mandragora flowers are beautiful, but... Well, I might put a... Let me get my book tabs. I have very cute ones right now. I've been using them for a poetry project lately, but I still have quite a few. Using almost all of them. Yay, golden sun. See, aren't they cute? You can be cute when you research. I might save this one because Mandragora is really cool looking. So Mandragora, mandrake root. You can actually see they do like the little fictional mandrake root. But Mandragora, herb of Circe, mandrake, mandrake root, sorcerer's root, wild lemon, witch's mannequin. And it's an uncommon thing in its meaning. Horror, rarity, scarcity, screaming, wickedness replacing love. Possible powers, aphrodisiac, black magic, caution, conception by way of spellcasting, death, exorcism, faith, fertility, health, illumination, initiation, learning, love, lust, magical power, money, potency. God, it's just everything. Alright. Well, if I, okay. Promote passion, promote sterility. Choose a lane. Folklore and facts. The likeness of the Mandragora root to a human figure is why it was once feared as embodying a demon. It was said that when the Mandragora plant was pulled out of the ground, a terrible shriek would be heard, and whoever heard it would die. Witches often use the Mandragora root in spellcasting. Many superstitions surround a possession of a Mandragora root. If you had one, it was fortunate, but it had to be sold before dying and at a lower price than what was paid for it. Also, a person who received one for free would never be free, for the person would be in the grip of the devil. I mean, if it's that easy to get in the grip of the devil. Alright. Mandragora. Because otherwise I will lose it. It seems like a decent candidate. I also like when a meaning behind a painting that I make can be pretty vague and open to interpretation. So I don't mind that it has like 5 million meanings. People can see what they need to see in it. There's times where I have very specific intentions with paintings. It's not always. Next, 731. And also, like, the flowers wouldn't be too bad. It's just, it would be kind of a tricky thing, but it's doable. It's doable. It's doable. I think it's still a candidate. That's a plant. Okay, and the last one, 887. Let's see, where's our last horror before we look at the dreams plants? And some of the illustrations in this book are gorgeous. Like, look at that. Also, there's a color meaning whenever it's available, because some flowers of a different color are thought to mean other things than other ones. It's all very arbitrary, but it's interesting, you know, like, it's fascinating. Like, you can learn a lot about the context of a surrounding culture to a plant, on how it views a certain plant. So I kind of like. And that one doesn't have... Oh, it's just... Okay. I actually know what that one looks like, even though they don't have a picture. That's just a ground cactus. Okay. So now we move on to dreams. And then we will choose one. And I guess we can choose one together. 128. Siaderko! Hello! Hi, Steve! The music is a vibe. Yeah! Passion and sterility. Good morning, Sen. Hi, everybody. Hope you are all having a wonderful Friday so far. Okay. Happy to see you. Oh, I already lost my place. The music is so nice too. I'm just kind of like bopping my head. Dun, dun, dun. 128. Okay, that's 128. Bachula. Oh, the birch tree. Well, that wouldn't help us. 475. And for anyone coming in, I'm just kind of looking up some flowers that I could use in my painting. I have a big book of flowers and their meanings and history and stuff like that. 475. 475. Oh. Oh, holly. Holly wouldn't work, but that's cool. And then 656 and 665, and then we'll make a choice. 656. If anyone's wondering why I'm not just flipping to the page, it's going by the number of the flowers, not by the page number. I don't know why they did that, but that's just how they did it. Which makes me wonder if they did the index before the final layout? If that's how they did it? Which was a choice, I guess. Alright, 656. Flowering fern, no picture, but I don't think a fern would help us too much. And then the last one is 665. And for funsies, I can show you flower 666 if you really want to, but it's just poppies. It's nothing that exciting. Ooh, would poppies be good? That is a poppy. Ooh. This is a very specific one too. Okay, so this is a... Ooh. Okay, so a white poppy. I think... Okay, I'll sketch a white poppy and a marigold, but I think it's gonna be one of those two. So that flag is incorrect, but I'm only gonna save one now. Ooh, poppies could be good. So they mean dreaminess, eternal sleep, fantastic extravagance, imagination, oblivion. A white poppy would mean consolation, dreams, and peace. And that could be interesting color-wise. At one time, Papavera orientale seed pods were glided or gilded and worn to attract wealth. An interesting divination that could be used to answer a perplexing question is to write that question on a piece of paper using blue ink, then fold it up and tuck it within a poppy seed pod. Put the pod under your pillow before sleeping to facilitate a dream that will answer a question. That's so silly. Oh, also a cool thing about this book as well is that it tells you if it's poisonous to humans. So I like that. I like that it would also be poisonous to humans. Okay. Let me pull some up to reference for a sketch. And then I'll put that in here so that y'all can get a good view of what I'm doing. Hooray! Good morning, cat! Cat! Cat. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody. Oh, there's so many good beans. Hello. Hi everyone. I'm so happy to see you all. You're all very lovely. Yeah, Pokemon Emerald. Best generation. No, I just have a very strong nostalgia for Pokemon Sapphire. But, let's see. I mean, chrysanthemums, I know what those look like, right? I know, or sorry, not chrysanthemums, marigolds. I know what those look like. These are one of my favorites. So marigolds are always just kind of these flowers that look like this. And the thing that would be interesting about them is that, so marigolds are a very 3D flower. All flowers are 3D. Let me explain. Give me a second. So what I mean by that is that a chrysanthemum, actually let me see. I have a paper one. Hi baby. Sorry, Seatbelt. I don't need to start on you, sweetie. I don't need to start you. Do you want your smoke? Good girl. Okay. I have a paper one that I made several years ago here. So, what I mean by it being a very 3D flower, it's a very in the round flower. So a chrysanthemum, this one is kind of squished, but it has something to look at every side. So if I put it in a painting, right, it doesn't matter what perspective we end up choosing. We're gonna be able to like see that it's a marigold. Why do I keep saying chrysanthemum? Like, we're gonna see that it's a marigold from any angle that we look at it. And the issue with poppies is that poppies are, draw one up really quick so that you can see. Yeah, no, it's a very, I just like kind of looked up GBA mixes because I was like, I'm in a mood for GBA music. And no, they've been working out pretty nicely. I like them. It's good choices. The next playlist of GBA music that I have has more Golden Sun music in it. I checked. So the first one only has one, but the next one has more. Okay, so Orbital Poppy. Okay. So the issue with a white poppy, right? They're beautiful. However, sketch one out for you really quick. Okay. This is a very, very rough sketch. I don't know if that's even reading. Yeah. Well, haven't warmed up yet. Here, I'll just drop the picture in chat for you all. Come on, open image in new tab. And alright. Oh, actually, I could just show that really quick. Kind of reads a little bit, but boop, boop. This is not an endorsement of this seed seller. This is just the first one that I found. By the way, next time I'm over, yeah. Kat, I'm surprised that you haven't looked at it yet. Like, the times that you've picked out a book from my bookshelf. I'm surprised that that hasn't been one of them. Also, for those that don't know, Kat is acting familiar with me because they are my pseudo-sibling. They are a very, very, very close friend. Is basically my sibling. So yeah, and Kat has been over to my house a few times and has seen my obsession with books in person. So yeah, I dropped it in chat so that you all can see it. But yeah, like, so it's a beautiful flower, right? Beautiful, beautiful flower. Really cool dual coloration and stuff like that. The problem is seeing that from a distance. would that read? Like, would that... God, camera, can you stop? Can I stop moving my camera? You know, like, we could do... I mean, they could be larger than life. That's not an issue. It's just, I don't know... Like, we could make them, you know, something around this size, so that you could actually kind of see each one. So they would be mega-sized poppies, or we would just have to... I would have to establish a field of depth that makes it so this person being tiny in the piece makes sense, because it seems like they're very, very far back. Oh, I love this one. Yeah. Like, we could make them this size. And then that could probably read. The only thing is that I also am going to keep these fairly monochromatic to the colors of the piece. So... what makes a better texture? I guess, devil's advocate, right? This could potentially read more as a flower from a distance once everything is painted in, whereas the marigolds... You know why I keep calling it chrysanthemum? Because, like, their name is cempasúchil, and I keep using the American word for it instead, and my brain is like, long word that starts with C, so that's why it keeps calling it the wrong thing. These might read more as not the flower. I'm thinking about that too, because here, I'll show the painting that because that painting is on the side of a bookshelf, so I can't just bring it over for you, unfortunately. Hold on, let me see. So, this is a painting that I did a couple years back on the side of a bookshelf. Get it up. So you can see they're marigolds that are floating through space. Kat, I don't know if you've seen this one in person, because I have it kind of trapped between my bookshelves and desk right now. So you might have missed it. But you can kind of see, like, even from there, like, yes, it's a picture from a little bit of a distance, but do you see the issue is that they kind of turn into blobs a little bit, even when I have super, super, super defined ones. So even the ones that are really defined and that I painted in high detail, like, here's one that would probably be more fitting of what we would get in the painting. They kind of lose, even though these are based on, like, I did exact kind of replicas of some references I found. It starts to read, it starts to get harder and harder to read it as a flower as you go back, and not just like a pom-pom. So it works for this piece, but as much as I love my marigolds, I think poppies might be the way to go. You know, and like everybody kind of knows about like poppies, and then there's that whole Wizard of Oz kind of reference to them as well. Yeah, I think we might be going poppies. Oh yeah, I've seen the Nerd Nook. Found family? Yeah. Yeah, Cat is found family. Cat is very important found family. Oh, did I hit ads? I'm sorry. The white poppy reminds me of pansies, but that's probably because I'm used to seeing red poppies every year. Yeah. I'm more used to seeing red ones too, because I used to live in California way back when. I yapped right through my ad break. I'm sorry about that. I do need a little bit of a stretch break though. And I need to eat something to keep up my stamina. So I'm gonna take a little 5-minute break. Sorry about that. And we will get into sketching the, the two perspectives that we were looking at. Thank you. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go mic off so I can scarf down some cookies. You really don't want to focus on my page, do you? Absolute bastard of a webcam. I need to replace you. Hey everyone, I'm back. Ba-ba-dum. Okay. I'm still okay. Don't know if we'll get to underpainting today. I might do it in between streams. Just because otherwise you have to... I only like doing it as a part of streams, because doing one stream for underpainting is kind of a pain, since it's a lot of sitting there and literally waiting for paint to dry. And to me, that's not super fun. Okay. So, let's try... Oh, hi Seatbelt. Hey sweetie. Hello. How are you? Do you want pets? No? You just want to hang out? Okay. Yeah, you can hang out. Okay. So if we're thinking about this coming in from above, what would that look like? I'm trying to visualize. It'd be kind of... I think this focal point would be somewhere around here. So not in the middle. Let's think of rules of thirds, you know, so something in the bottom of the upper third. Can't forget our rules of thirds. And if anybody doesn't know what rules of thirds is, that's when, like for composition, to make a more dynamic, or thank you for the headbutt, Seatbelt, to make a composition kind of more dynamic or interesting and you know, just better, I guess. Like, you don't ever have to always follow these rules, but something that can help out is thinking of the rules of thirds. And the rules of thirds is like literally just taking your canvas, breaking it up into 9 quadrants, and then your focal points are all these intersections, right? So like, instead of having something right in the middle, like let's say you have your little guy here, and you're just like, hey, that's kind of boring to have him right in the middle. Not always. There's always exceptions to these things, right? Like, you can make a good composition by breaking the rules of thirds easily. But a cheat way to, like, make that a little bit more interesting is that instead of having that little guy there square in the middle, you could have him, like, up here. Right, hey! And then it just kind of adds, like, potential for more to be happening in your piece, as well as, like, even if it's just negative space, the negative space around the piece now, with this guy being, like, in the third versus this guy being in the middle, for some reason, to human brains, reads as more interesting. A lot of painting and stuff like that is just the study of how to make brains feel good or like feel interested. It's a lot of brain trickery, which is kind of the cool thing about it. This one feels a little weird. What is it? Oh, it's WarioWare. 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 It's WarioWare. Let's skip ahead. Let's see. Then we'll try this one next, and hopefully it's as good as the others. I will be finishing Golden Sun soon. Very soon. It's just been, you know, it is things have not been conducive to making a regular schedule. And I'm hoping that changes. And I'm trying to rest. You know, I'm trying to force myself to fucking rest and get better so that I can hopefully get to a more regular schedule with just like my life again soon. But we'll see. So then we're kind of looking at this person from overhead a little bit. This figure. Right? So we're thinking that this is like the front of their face, but then the top of their head, instead of it being out of view, is kind of visible. So then we have this person here doing a stippy. See, this perspective for some reason is a lot trickier for me to figure out, which is why I do want to challenge myself to think about it. Because even if it's not the one that I want to go with for this piece, like, I think it's still important to try to figure it out. And it could be interesting to have the light coming in a very, very sharp chisel, with it just suddenly opening it up very brightly around here, and it having more of a beam kind of quality, like a stage beam, spotlight. That's the actual word. But then for the hands, that's the thing that I'm not sure, is like this space up here. So this, like, let's consider it a third. This third up here, do I fill it with hands? Do I do something else in the composition? If it's a biggest hits of the things that I love, we already have hands, we already have flowers, we already have subtle horror. You know, I could put space in there. Just have it fading up into the stars, which could be really cool. Fuck, that would be cool. I don't want to become a one-trick pony with the stuff that I do, but I also love painting certain things. Shouldn't I paint things that I love? No. Alright, for now let's think of it bleeding up into space. But it would be a very teal space. Very teal, and then I might incorporate some black into there, just into the top. But actually, no, I wouldn't need black, because that would flatten it too much. Navy, and put some navy in there to kind of more get some of those deep space galaxy feels in there. And then having the hands, I'll draw that in red in a second, and then the flowers are all underneath, but I would want to give it a perspective of like a slight curvature to the ground. So we're looking at it from above. I mean, it would be a cool challenge. And then the hands I could all pose so that they're all like being viewed from above. So just taking pictures of my hands like how you're seeing them right now, right? So not just like coming up like this or anything like that, but they're all kind of being viewed from above. So that's very much viewed of like, this light is where they're all coming from. They're not just kind of randomly all over the painting. They actually are coming out from this light and coming from behind this person. That could be a lot of fun. See, this is the hard thing about painting, is that eventually you have to just choose one thing to do. Like, could I paint both? Yeah, but also no. Like, it's not like digital painting, right? Where it's just like, I could just make both, and then I just have both. It's a lot of material costs to making both in physical media. So you could make both, but it's expensive. Like, it's expensive to do that. I only have 4 more canvases after this one. And then I only have the amount of paints that I do, and it's a very large canvas, so to do it twice would be really expensive. It also wouldn't necessarily be interesting to do it both ways as well. It's more interesting to try to figure it out in this stage of planning and thumbnailing. So I'm just kind of imagining the flowers, and like we said, the flowers are going to be the most defined within the beam of light, so we'll get like a little counterbalance to the conical, that's the word I'm looking for. We'll get a little balance to the conical shape that we're getting, and doing a kind of conical shape down here as well, and I'll kind of ground some of the elements a little bit, because we have a lot of floatiness happening and not a lot of grounding. And that can make the piece look a little bit too chaotic to take in all at once. Because that's a thing too, of like, you can have a piece that has a lot of wild, disparate elements, but you kind of have to have elements that are tying everything together, and then giving some space for the brain to breathe. So even in art that is like psychedelic and really, really, really chaotic, there are cohesive elements in the best works that give your brain like a chance to at least gasp for air, so that it can continue looking at the abstract, surreal weirdness that's taking in. And that can be really subtle, like just a shape for your eyes to be drawn to. That is like, okay, that's the ground, you know, like it's stuff like that. Like I said, it's all trickery. Painting is just lying to people through visual media. Like the mental science of composition work and stuff like that is so much fun, and it is one of my favorite parts of figuring out a painting. So I really love the thumbnailing process, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you. So yeah, the more that I sketch this out, but see, like, then I'm gonna sketch out the other one, and I'm gonna go, oh, but this one's cool, and I'm such a fickle creature. I'm saying that affectionately. This one's one of my favorites. I love this piece. Okay. So, beam of light, backlighting on the flowers, and the backlight fades as we go out. Backlight on the character, which would be cool if the top of the head is up here. It bleeds up into space. There you go, there's stars. Imagine stars. And then the hands would be coming out kind of more in a top view, like I was saying, so there'd be more like how you see my hand there. And still have the grippies and stuff, but I would just need to be sure that I'm keeping that perspective consistent. Oh, and that would be an easier way to kind of balance that out as well. And then it bleeding into space like that could be really cool, especially if there's like a couple of little red glowing stars in the background. Just kind of, you know, hints of little distant red dwarf suns far, far away. That could be really cool. Oh, this would be a really difficult composition, but this could be really fun. Yeah, because then all the hands are coming out there. Could even have a few that are kind of grasping up, like trying to pry the light open further. And I can raise this up so it's not the third, it could be a little bit less than a third, but the bleed into the space that we're in, end space, would be within this section of the third. Hey Renee! morning. I'm working on thumbnailing for my next painting. Oh, and stretching. So the painting is, God, fucking camera. I need to. I've gotten ideas of how to improve the camera, but I'm working on 2 potential perspectives. So one is, here's the concept. Let me start over. Concept is there's going to be a dark painting. It has a shaft of light coming down, and then there's going to be a kind of bed of flowers, a figure coming out of it, and lots and lots and lots of hands coming out of that shaft of light. And it's not grisping. Twitch brain, get out of here. Gripping the light. And the bed of flowers is going to be white poppies. And there's going to be 3D and 2D elements to it. So I'm going to do a layer of Mod Podge over the areas that have hands. And some of them will be carved in. And then I'm going to do a wash of paint. So there's kind of an uneven coating of the groove marks that I make from carving into Mod Podge for some of them, and then some of them will be flat underneath the Mod Podge. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do the perspective of this piece from above, which is what I'm kind of doodling here, and then it would bleed out into space, or if I'm going to do it from below, and then you're going to get more of kind of seeing the figure in an undershot, and it's just a quick poppy that I sketched. Yeah. God, it really just doesn't want to let anyone see what I'm working on. Camera, you're a butt. But yeah, I will bring up... Anyone in the chat, please feel free to ask me to bring up any of my sketches to show what I'm doing. Yeah, we're just chilling out to Game Boy Advance music. Hi, Joanna! Grasp the light. Got it. Hope your lab day is going okay. I think I remember you mentioning that you were gonna have 2 long days, so I hope all is productive and well, and that you get something good to eat to treat yourself. But yeah, so that would be the above perspective that I'm starting to really like now. But now let me completely change my mind by starting to sketch out the below perspective. Oh. Let me see if... I'm really unhappy with how the zoom is looking. Hold on. Let me see if maybe... I mean, that's not... It's smaller, but I don't know if maybe that... Nope, that's worse. Sorry about that. Sorry. 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 It's just, the zoom doesn't really help with the... I'm also trying not to move the camera too much because I know that can make people feel like, oh. So I'm trying to be slow with my adjustments. That seems worse. That seems worse. Let's undo that. Alright. Bear with me. And thank you for your patience. Okay. We'll do that, and then I will bring it up closer to the camera when there is something more interesting to see. Did it not? Why is it still look funky here? happen? What did you do? Okay, now I don't know why it looks completely kind of funky. Now it looks super out of focus. I should have left it alone! Crap! I fell for the trap. I fell for the trap of thinking that I could just fix it on the fly. Oh, I was a foolish fool. That's alright. Like, 13 more seconds of futzing with this, and then we're... I don't know. Fucking hell. Oh, man. I made it so much worse. I made it so much worse. Does that do anything? No. How did I make it worse? You motherfudger. Okay. You know what? I'll hold it up closer to the camera when it matters, so let's leave it be. Let's leave it be. But yeah, good luck. Good luck with work. Yeah, Steve, it's a lot of folks going like, oh, hello, hello. Yeah, Steve, you should. How is your camera position / mounted? It's honestly, so I have a boom arm. And it's locked in to be straight down from right overhead. The thing is that this camera is like, when did I get it? This camera is like 10 years old? It's old. Like, that's the, that's the main issue, I think, is just, it's old. It's a 960p old web camera, but it's what I have. Somebody mentioned, who was it? Jesse mentioned that there's probably a way to turn like an old iPhone camera into a better web camera. So I have to see. I have like one old cracked one that maybe I can try to make into a better camera. Or once I have like a job again, just save up for a better webcam. But yeah, like the boom arms are good. It's just, it's a really shitty webcam. Can only do so much. So. Let's get back to it. So below, the other potential perspective that we could do is looking up from below. Where did I put the camera? Oh, here. See, this is why I put the camera notes. So this one is from like roughly up here, and then this one is going to be from like here. You can definitely reuse an old iPhone camera. I know a few peeps that use an iPhone 8. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, hopefully. I remember I started Minish Cap, but I have never successfully completed a Zelda game. I've started a lot of them, but I've never actually finished one before. I usually just end up watching people play them. It's just, I don't know. I haven't found one that really grabbed me yet. One day, I think. Okay, so from below, looking at the figure, I still want the figure to be tiny, but we're looking at them from above, or sorry, from below. So kind of thinking of them like that. And then this one would be a lot more flower focus. So there's a potential to even have, like, we could super warp the perspective and have some of the flowers be really, really up close, like this guy. and then making the depth of field via warping the flowers. So having that kind of cool texture of like the flowers and then having them be so tiny. So yeah, having them get so tiny. Sorry, I really like this song. Be able to really control that depth of field and kick the flowers super itty bitty. Then the challenge would be like making sure that the flowers that are up front still have that mid-tone light, and their strongest feature is the backlight, the red backlight. And not having the flowers come through too strong as to like just pull the eye down to the bottom of the canvas and have it stuck there. So making sure that the red can like bring the eye back up to the light that would begin off of the canvas in this one. So more of like a light there. Da, 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 da. The glow on this person. There could be some interesting things that we do with looking up at them and having like the below light. So you know that like when you have a face, and it has that underlighting, like in horror movies and stuff, where the light is kind of like shooting up from below and just making them look all scary. But I would want to do it subtle. I wouldn't want it to be like super scary looking. But that could be fun. The flowers could be fun. There wouldn't be any space and galaxy. But then this could be the interesting thing with this painting, is that all of the hands could be viewed from below, which would be its own kind of special hell. But so all of the hands instead are like angled in a way to where you can see the underside of them. So then it kind of looks like they're towering over the view that we have. So a lot of foreshortened hands in this version. That could be really cool. And then yeah, still hands trying to grip open the light. Grisp. The grisp. And that might be easier to do a depth of field from this perspective too, because then you have the balance of the hands coming in and then the flowers coming in, right? This is how I do my spatial thinking. It's a lot of it is with my hands. So you have that and this. Oh, I need a cookie. I need a cookie. I have an emergency stash of chocolate cookies in my freezer that I just pop into the oven whenever I kind of just need, you know, pick me up. Because, so here's some of the pros of this composition, is that this composition easily, at least more easily, bleeds off of the canvas. So I could have the composition have... It's a really cute edition of the Game Boy Advance turn-on sound. I could... Hold on. I'm just seeing if the song is the one I'm thinking it is. It is, okay. What do they have? No, this works. This works. I see the ones that are coming up. I found an article that can help in looking into getting an iPhone into a webcam on Windows. Oh, thank you! And then, yeah, I have the rule of, like, I don't hold any amount of intimacy to my DMs. I think DMs are just silly little places to message. You're more than welcome to DM me. Any links or references that you think would be useful for me. If I need you to stop, I will tell you. And if anyone ruins it for everyone else, I will start to lock it down. But so far, everybody has been chill, and that's good. It's just a space to talk. Like, it's... I don't know. I don't get DMs being, like, special. I've ranted about that many times before. Hi, Sploot! Hi! Hello, Sploot! But yeah, thank you for linking it. Also, yeah, feel free to... Let's see. Pretty solid option. It's your favorite 2D Zelda. Yeah, I think I just got stuck. I'm trying to remember where I got stuck. It was like some kind of fire level or magma level? Is that a thing in there? I don't know. I got stuck like 2 or 3 hours in, and I don't remember why. And I was playing it in undergrad. So, this was years after it came out. I'm not that old. I was playing it in undergrad, and then I just got busy with undergrad again. Okay, so I really need to paint my nails. Every time I wash my hair, they get re-stained at the very tips by my hair dye, and if I just painted my nails, that wouldn't happen anymore. Or at least I wouldn't see it anymore. Songs. I love WarioWare. I'm not in the mood for WarioWare songs today. Sorry, WarioWare. I'm going straight to Metroid. Are you talking about Link and Little Guy Land? Yeah. Hi, Kira. Yeah. No, and I mean, I understand that, like, sometimes people are more worried about, like, random DMs and stuff like that, and that's totally valid. That is totally fine for people to feel that way, but I have a very open door policy with DMs. I mean, I principally use DMs, like, 80% of the time to just send stuff that I think is, like, either cool or, like, relevant to people that I know. It's like, oh, this thing reminded me of a thing. There you go. And a lot of times I send links without even saying or, like, explaining it to people. I just send shit. So, like, if you look at my DM list, there's, like, always, like, a couple dozen DMs because I just go, like, oh, this reminds me of this person, and just send things off. So if you ever get a DM from me, sorry, it's not that special to me, but I am thinking of you, if that makes you happy. It just, yeah, it's not a big deal for me. I'm just like, oh, here's this thing. I don't want to bother trying to find you in a Discord server. So, pros of this composition. It would be easier to fuck around with the perspective in a way that is advantageous to making a cool composition, and the composition would be able to bleed off of the canvas. And what I mean by that is that it's not confined to the canvas. Like, you could imagine it extending further beyond the confines of the canvas. So it's more being in a scene. Whereas going from above, so I mean, these are scribbles, but from whatever you can make of my scribbles. So, like, I could do some cool things with, like, really, really playing with the variety of hand sizes, and then really playing with the variety of flower sizes as well to kind of like really make a very clear depth of field. Whereas this one is more confined, but is still visually interesting. Like, it tells a different story, right? So we have this moment in time kind of trapped under the stars and the galaxies and stuff like that, of this beam of light, this person emerging from the light, and this like flower field that is very small, but that would put it more and more to the background. And then these hands are coming out over them, and it gives you more of a distant feeling from the action. But because of the amount of action, let's say, like, because of the amount of stuff that's happening, I don't know, that could be really interesting as well. As like, even though you're more distant from what's happening in there, there might be a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Both an ennui and an intrigue for the viewer to be seeing it from kind of that faraway perspective. And then this one puts you more right in the action. You're in the field of poppies. You're seeing this open up before you. So I guess that's the question that I have, is like, because both would be fun to paint. But like I said, it only makes sense to paint one or the other. So I guess that's the question, is which one is the one I should do? Because I don't want to do the straight-on one. The straight-on one is not going to be the most interesting. Like, after making these, the straight-on one is the most boring, by far. Oh, also, do y'all like my little mouse pad? Little bear. Squish, squish, squish. He says, you can do it, you can figure this out. You hate how bloopy you are. No! There is a magma level. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I remember, is getting stuck in the magma level. Lower that a little bit. I sent Ghost an article on distortion music. Oh, Ghost will love that. Me sendle scrandle to various... Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. I enjoy pebbling and finding things, I believe. Yeah. It's a love language. I don't know if it's a love language for me. It's just a thing that I like doing. Like, Ace Brain is immediately rejecting that as a love language for me. It's like, it's more just, let's call it an agape love language, right? Like the platonic stuff. The platonic ideal is sending bullshit and sometimes useful things to people, and asking them questions when I feel like I would forget the next time that I see them in a VC or in a chat where they're actively chatting. That is my form of platonic love, is ADHDing all over people's DMs. I mean, Kat would know. Kat was here earlier. I send bullshit to Kat all the time. Actually, I've not sent enough bullshit to Kat these last 2 months because we've been talking about a lot of more serious stuff that's been going on. Kat, I will send you more bullshit. Don't worry. I will send you more gay porn. But... It's like, you just said it was platonic. Yeah, Kat is my platonic best friend. Or one of my best friends. And... we send each other gay yaoi. It's great. I can't decide. Happy gay porn. Happy gay porn. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna put it up to a poll, but I'm not necessarily going to go with what chat wants. I just want, I just want y'all to give your opinions on, so which perspective. Oh, fucking love this battle music. Which perspective is most interesting? From above, right page, or from below? And then I'll bring them closer to the camera. Left page, no additional votes. We'll put that up for, let's do 3 minutes. Okay. Alright. We did it. We made a poll. So, let me bring this up in a way that's not too fast, but this is the above perspective. So, we are looking at this scene from above, and so the light is contained to these lower 2/3. The figure is down here. The flower field is very, very small, and the hands are all coming out here, and then we have space above. So like deep space, so we would have some stars and stuff, and the background would be fading up into that kind of deep night sky. It says one perspective. Then the other one, the below perspective, is, there we go, is you basically being in the position of looking from the flower field. And so we have some like really up close flowers. We have like a field of death made by the flowers. The flowers take up more space. The light goes all the way up to the edge of the canvas, so you don't see the edges of it. And then the hands are coming in with you being able to see the underside of the hands. Don't think about what's easier to paint, because I don't care about that. I want the challenge. Just literally think about what's more interesting. So this one would have undersides of hands to be able to see. And ultimately, like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. If you're painting that many hands, it's not that much harder or different. These ones, you would be seeing more of the tops of the hands, kind of crisping out. Also, speaking of love languages, biting is Prince's love language. Yay. So yeah, those are the two choices. Let me know if you want to see one of those close up again. This is actually very fun music to be doing a poll to, and this is not me going like, you get to decide. This is me just trying to see like what people are thinking in terms of how they see it. You know, like, does it seem like one is more interesting than the other? Does it seem like, you know, I want to see what people are thinking there. Don't really consider love languages to be romantic by default. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shocked Automod didn't eat that. We've been teaching it. We've been teaching our Automod to be gay friendly. Ended up defaulting it to be, yeah. Yeah, it's more friendship. Friendship is good. Interesting. Interesting. I see. From below. I'm kind of leaning that way too, because this is a cool perspective, but I think there's too much stuff in it, and that you lose some of the impact, and this one is going to be so much more like, ho, you know? That's an official, ho is an official art term, by the way. If they didn't teach you that in art school, ask for a refund, because ho is definitely an official art term that you should know. And if you don't know it, well, now you do. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm excited. That'll be really cool. That'll be really fun. So references that I'm gonna need to get for myself. How am I feeling? I don't think I've got 2 hours in me because I do want to try to get myself out on a walk later today. So I want to save some energy for that. So I don't think I have 2 hours. I think I have like an hour. An hour would be perfect for doing underpainting. And ads are coming up soon. So I'm going to do a quick list of references that I need to get for this painting. So I need to see some glow studies, because a lot of this is going to be, yes, red hands, but they're going to be glowing. I want all of this to be like light. So I'm going to look at a lot of Thomas Kincaid. No, and there's a lot of, honestly, there's a lot of contemporary artists that blow Kincaid out of the water. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of paintings that really utilize like light. I'll probably look at a lot of things with like neon light in it, because I think that's going to give me the effect that I want the most. So neon light paintings. So I'm going to be studying a lot of those. I need to do underhand references, so I just need to take a lot of pictures of my hands. And that'll be a thing that I set up once I start painting, is that a friend of mine, Shnu, a friend to many of us, but Shnu let me know some of the tools that they use for collaging references together. So I'll have my references on the side so that you can look at that alongside the painting. Sorry, it's really bugging me how blurry it is, and I'm really sorry about how blurry it got today. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck happened with it. It just got so... Yeah, I don't know what would fix that. Oh well. Can't believe my professors never told me that. Throwing my... Yeah, you should. And yeah, and just go ahead and punt the whole entire school to the moon. As is your right. That's your right. It's your God-given right. Sen, that's good. To me, that's the biggest compliment, is like if somebody can nap during my stream. I love it. I love it. Perfect. Good. Okay, I need underhand references. White poppies. Let's get a lot of those. And figure reference. So I'm gonna figure out I'm gonna figure out the figure. No, I'm gonna do a photo reference of myself in the pose that I want for the figure. And yeah, otherwise I think once I got all of that, we'll be good to go. So I think we're in a spot where we can do the underpainting under a little ad break. After a little ad break. So we'll do quick ad break, get those out of the way, and then we'll underpaint for the last hour, and then we'll call it a stream. I think that sounds good. There we go. So this is the one that we're gonna end up doing, is this composition. Which is gonna be a lot of fun, I think. It's gonna be really challenging with all the palms that I'm gonna be painting, but also I'm really glad that I did the study that I did of the Disco Elysium painting, because that's gonna help out a lot in figuring that out. And I think the underlighting, like combining underlighting and backlighting, is gonna be really fun. Because it's going to be like under mid-tone lighting, right? Instead of like sharp. I don't know. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really hard, but it's going to be really fun. So that'll be that one. We're going to let the ads do their thing so that they get the fuck out of the way. And I am going to grab my supplies, seeing if that helps a little bit. There you go. Oh, you motherfucker. You're trying. Alright. I don't want to turn autofocus on because it causes a headache for a lot of people. This is a poppy. Or is it? No, I'm getting silly. Eating too many cookies. Okay. We'll get the ads out of the way. I will get my painting supplies ready. And then we'll do underpainting. And that'll just be some cozy watching me turn an entire canvas teal. So yeah. Let's do it. I will see you in a bit. Stay away from capitalism. Get a stretch. Get the good time. Hydrate. Take your meds. Get a snack. Do anything you need to. But yeah, fuck Jeff Bezos. Okay, bye. Underpainting. Yeah. And for anybody that's still here during the ads, thank you very much. Appreciate you supporting me. Through supporting the channel. And yeah, your support means a lot. Why did I have to underpaint? Oh no! No! Ew! Sin is bound puppy? Yeah, like, is it a puppy? I don't know. I like that. Alright. Oh, stretchies. And where's my painting mug? Hello there. Okay. Got painting mug. Kit. Palette. Why is this palette all junky? I'm just gonna plate. Okay. Are you out of ads? we're out of ads. Oh, okay. Ahoy! Hi, Fritzy. Hello, hello. Okay. So we can move sketchbook out of the way. And for this, the underpainting, gonna do a lot of teals. I want a really, really dark teal. I want a very unnatural teal. I don't know if anybody had a painting teacher that said something similar. One of my oil painting teachers, back in the brief amount of time I went to art school, many careers ago, once said, like, when you're painting, this song is too much, hold on. I like it, but it's not the vibe right now. It's not the vibe. There we go. Here. Come on. There it goes. Paparazzi! Oh! Dang, paparazzi came by again. I love that photo emote so much. Just run off. Yeah, one of my oil professors used to tell us, like, when we were painting nature and stuff, or anything natural, if you use a poisonous color, you're using the wrong colors for your palette. And what he specifically meant was things like, not you, you're okay, phthalo. So like any of the phthalo greens, any of the naphthalines, any of the ones that are toxic to eat. Now, to be fair, like, phthalo green does have like a weird unnatural glow to it. But, you know, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule for anything in painting. It was just really funny. I think it was because, too, like, he had a streak of students for some reason that, like, kept using phthalo green for all of their greenery, and it just drove him to a point where he, like, forbade people from using phthalo green in any of the, like, leaves and stuff like that that they would paint in class. Like, he didn't just say, like, oh, it's the wrong one to use. Like, he would actively, like, stop you from painting if he saw you using phthalo green in your leaves. He's like, no! Oh, art school's weird. I usually use it to steal code. Oh, steal my paints! Here you go. Here's paints. Here, you can have paints. Just blocking everything. This is just a quick thumbnail of what I'm going to end up painting, and so right now I'm doing the underpainting for it, but it's going to be a beam of light, lots of hands made out of light coming out of that beam, a figure walking out from that beam onto a giant field of flowers, and I'm going to be playing a lot with the light in the space. And so there's going to be like backlight to the figure, there's going to be backlight to the flowers that define like that depth of field. That's going to be a fun time. It's going to be fun. Right now, I'm just working on making a cool color for the underpainting. And then we'll call it a day. Well, yeah, hello. Hello and welcome in. Painting should be edible. Yeah, he just wanted to eat our paintings and he was sick and tired of getting lead poisoning, you know? He's like, look, students, this is all that I have to eat, so if you poison me, like, that just is a bad time. For not being... Comfy. Okay, I caught up on chat. Phthalo. Oh, I have both. Yeah. So here's phthalo blue. Here's phthalo green. The poison. 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 I mean, you shouldn't eat paint, but these ones will fuck you up more. If you were held at gunshot and you're held at gunpoint and have to choose a paint to eat, don't choose a phthalo. It'll make you very unhappy. Forget if Hooker's Green is... I think Hooker's Green is fine, right? Nobody quote me on that. Don't, like, go and eat paint. It's not what I'm telling you to do. Little punks would. Like, all I said, this one's safe to eat. No, I did not. I did not. That's not what I'm saying. I like the episode of CatBaronCafe where Ollie poisoned us for a long time. Oh, that is a very pretty color, but that's not the color I want. Actually, here you go. That's my favorite color. I accidentally made my favorite color. It's like this specific kind of jewel tone teal. I don't know how accurately it's coming up on camera. Oh yeah, there it is. This kind of like really, really deep teal. It's a little brighter in person than it's showing up on camera. It's a little more green in person. Yeah, that's my favorite color. Anything that I see in the wild that has this color, I usually end up getting for myself. Like this little tiny, it's got like tea in it. This little tiny like tea dish that I use. Don't mind that I need to scrub it out, but it's just tea in there. But yeah, like this little tiny dish was in my favorite colors, and was handmade in Turkey. So it was cool. I was like, oh, that's worth $8. Let's go. I have been putting a lot of tea in there, so I just need to scrub it out. But yeah, anytime. What about cyan raspberry? Ooh, cyan raspberry. Only on a Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, you can eat cyan raspberry. I think it comes from psilocybin. Yes, psilocyanine. Yeah, that is the full name. All the lead made him aggressive. No wonder he was so aggressive. It was all the lead. Phthalo Blue from Joy Painting. Yeah, Bob Ross. Shout out to Bob Ross. Okay. Let's get back to it. Is my light balancing all fucked? Why do I have to be a lighting nerd? How's that looking? That's worse. That's worse, god dang it! Gosh darn it! Alright, that's a little better. I feel like that's the only thing that I do semi-professionally. I have like several light sources that I play with at any given time when I do webcams. So it's like, look, I know my webcam is a piece of shit, but I really make the lights work for it. I want this to be deeper, so if I want it to be deeper, I'm going to put a little bit more of the phthalo green in there. And a little bit more of the phthalo blue, because I want it to be unnatural. It's like, thank you for the advice, painting teacher. I will make my painting poisonous to eat, I guess. I do generally still follow that advice, though, when I do greenery, and it's like, yeah, it does look better, but it's fun to make fun of you. You're a successful painter and art professor, you're fine. You can do with some punk former student making fun of you. You'll live. Okay, that's pretty. It's lighter than I want, but I will build shadows and stuff like that on top of it as needed. It doesn't have to be the darkest possible color right now. And I love this brush. I am using it incorrectly all the time, and I don't care. fine. Okay, okay, watch out. I'm gonna do a zoom out. This will be the last time I fuck with the camera. Transform, reset. There we go. Okay. Oh, now you can see all my secrets! Like how I use this same table to work on my puzzle. That's why I have my cutting mat out, is to protect the puzzle. Okay. Nope, stop shaking the camera. There we go. And I will expand it out. Boop. Keep the relevant stuff on there. And yeah, this is gonna be just a whole bunch of teal, so if you don't like the color teal, well, do. I don't that sounded so aggressive. Like, well, maybe you should. Oh, sneakrets. No, Sen, don't look at the sneakrets. They're my sneakrets. But yeah, if you enjoy just watching a whole bunch of paint just go down on a canvas. Whew. Here's some good painting porn for you. Don't say I never did nothing for you. Ugh, I know, like, this makes my brain happy. It's just to see the... I love underpainting. I love underpainting so much. Get a little water in there. Yeah, there we go. I also, for the moment, I do know how to stretch canvases. Here's the thing. I am trained in being able to stretch and make homemade canvases. It is something I used to do in art school all the time. However, I don't really have the space for doing that at the moment. Gesso, I mean, gesso's, all paint is kind of toxic, right? But like, a small apartment is manageable for doing acrylic paints. You know, I'm not gonna make myself sick doing acrylic paints. Gesso, on the other hand, is an acrylic paint, but is very, very, very potent. Literally some of the gessos that you can get out there is called kills. Like, it's just, it's very strong stuff. And the fumes are a lot, and they take a lot to get out. And so doing that in my apartment is not ideal. I could probably do it in the basement. The super likes me, so maybe he would allow me. Like, I'm not a jerk to him, so he's like, oh, you're cool. So maybe he would allow me in the basement to paint. But yeah, just, I don't know. It takes a lot of space. It takes a lot of initial investment to get the supplies to stretch your own canvases. It pays out, like, in the long run, sort of, as long as canvas bar supplies don't go up. And right now, that's not a guarantee. So the cheapest way for me to get canvases, even though I have less control over sizing and stuff, is through buying pre-made. But I hate the surface texture of pre-made canvases. And that is something that I usually do with canvases that I make, is that I over gesso them, so that they end up having a very, very smooth surface to paint on. But store-bought canvases have a texture that is really hard to cover up with acrylic. And so part of my underpaintings tend to be really, really thick, ideally, so that I can start to really cover up that texture, because I'm just going to do it with the overpainting otherwise. So it's like, do I spend a bunch of paint now or do I spend a bunch of paint later? And that's totally a personal preference thing. I think I don't know, it feels like when I have a painting that has that, like, I don't know how much of that texture is coming through. I don't think you can see it from here. Let me see if I can show it in a way that actually, look at how blue. That's blue. So do you see that kind of grain? Like up in that section? Do you see the grain in the lighter areas? That's what I mean by the texture of the canvas. Like you can see the grain of the fabric. You can see the grain of the fabric in it. And I don't know. I feel like a painting doesn't look finished if you can see that. Is that true? No. Like, if you leave that texture in your paintings, you're fine. But for me personally, when I'm doing one of my paintings, I don't know, in my brain, like, a painting just doesn't feel done until that texture is gone. So, yeah, I do a lot to try to kill it. And it is harder to cover up in the store-bought ones than ones that you make on your own. Because the ones that are bought in the store that are pre-made tend to be very, very thinly gessoed. Gesso is the white paint that you put on a canvas. It's not always white. Fun fact. You can get gesso in different colors. You can make gesso into different colors. It's just the most common one that you'll see is white. And yeah. I'm just also painting the edges as well. I like edge coverage. And the next time we work on this painting, we'll be working on the painting for real, for real. But I like showing these prep streams. I've done this a few times now. Oh no, did I do it for the hand one? I don't know if I did it for the hand one. No, I don't think I showed my prep for the hand painting, so I only showed it for the other one. But I think I don't know, I like sharing that part of the process. No paint in the tea. No. And I think it's an interesting part of the process for both people that do paint and people that don't paint. To kind of see, like, how do you have a funky idea and then turn it into an actual piece? And I think there's something very cool about kind of seeing the breakdown of that. Okay. I also think it's kind of nice to paint the canvas a color that makes you excited to paint. So if you make the canvas, because sometimes starting on a blank canvas can be really intimidating. I don't know. I don't feel that so much anymore. I think just because I have so many things I want to paint, that I'm just always really excited. to start slapping paint onto a canvas. But I know that's a real hesitation point for a lot of folks. And I recommend, if you are having trouble getting a painting started, here's a nice thing about underpaintings. You can use them strategically to be part of your painting. You can also make them just be whatever the fuck you want. So, like, because they're an underpainting, so you can incorporate them into the final painting. But you see how cool that looks with the red? That's very promising for me, because there's going to be so much red in this painting. Oh, that's already a really cool combo. That's a really cool combo. I like it. I like it. But yeah, it's an underpainting. You can do whatever you want. It's your painting. And also, so the color of your underpainting doesn't have to do anything with the color of your final painting, because you will cover it up. If you incorporate it, great. If you don't, you don't. No one's going to come after you for it. So that's something that used to help me a lot, and that I still like doing, because it makes me excited to keep painting. Paint the canvas a color that you like. You know, if you find one that's relevant to your piece, awesome. Like, this one is going to be relevant, so that's cool. But otherwise, just, you know, paint it a color that you like. Have fun just putting a bunch of color onto the canvas, knowing that it doesn't matter, and if it doesn't make sense later, you can cover it up. You know, you're going to let the underpainting dry, and then you're going to get to work on sketching and doing all of that good stuff later. But if it's a color you like, it's going to be a lot less intimidating than working on a blank white canvas. So there you go. Try that. And sometimes once you just like slap paint down, then you get over that initial like of starting a new project. I don't have a ton of art advice. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm still reteaching myself. But the few pieces I think are good. And that's one of the things I think is useful for anybody. You know what? Same with digital painting, or same with digital coloring. If looking at a blank white square is a lot, put a color down. Just put a color down underneath it. You know, make it a color that you like looking at. And you're tricking your brain into releasing little tiny bits of serotonin about looking at a color that you like. Brains are stupid. You can trick them so easily. Brains are both really smart and really stupid. They're silly little creatures. And it's thankfully sometimes easy to get them out of certain anxieties and like coax them out. So yeah, underpainting is the of brain calming. What is this analogy? The fuck am I talking about? Does anybody know? Oh, that looks cool on the webcam. Oh, now I have this pretty canvas in one of my favorite colors. I wish I could get the... Let me see if I could... There's no way. There's no way I'm gonna get the color balance to where it's actually showing the color correctly. You can try. There. I like giving my one very useful piece of advice to that music. Do 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 do. Okay. Not this. I don't know. Let me not fuck with that anymore. But yeah, it's a little more green in person, but also the color that is showing up on webcam is very pretty too. So it's like the green version of this color and this blue version that's showing up on webcam are my favorite colors. There you go. If you wanted to see what my favorite color is, here it is. I made a big giant canvas of my favorite color. FBI! Fuck! Ah! Run! Fuck! made that? Is that a boom? It is a boom. I was like, is that a boom emote? That probably is. God, I love boom emotes. I like making the background gray, but that's to stop the screen from being so bright. But that's smart! Because you stop the screen from being so bright, you can work. Like, that's all it is like, what do you need to do to make your eyes feel less afraid of the canvas? And then, yeah. I think this underpainting is good to go. There's still canvas texture in there. But there's a lot of painting that I'm gonna do on this one, so this should help get it started for sure. It's the fence! Flush the canvas! Oh! Okay. This is not legal advice, but this is something that I learned from my criminal investigation law class. Which, yes, is a class that I took. Don't... If you have feds coming in and they're witnessing your activities, okay, two things. One, you can escalate the situation to where authorities may be able to excuse more drastic measures because they think that you're going to, like, flush evidence or something like that, and so they're trying to preserve the evidence. You know, who cares about preserving you, I guess, but they want to preserve the evidence from destruction. So, also, they can do a testimony of, we don't know what they flushed, but they were flushing something in front of a grand jury, and that usually will make a jury go, what were you flushing? So yeah. Not legal advice, but if the feds are at your door, don't flush shit. Because they can. It has been submitted of, like, testimony of, like, look, we don't know what they were flushing, but they were flushing something in a very hurried manner, and then the toilet clogged, and you're like, like, so there you go. God, I'm just imagining, though, like, trying to flush the canvas, like, get in there! Open up, it's the police! Just hold on! I can't believe they don't know what poop is. It's because they're too used to it, because they're so full of it all the time. That's why they don't know what poop is, babe. It's because the cops are full of shit, so they can't recognize it. Yeah, what if we were just going to the bathroom? That would be the defense. That you were just taking a massive shit. You don't know how many defense attorneys, by the way, would be more than happy to tell a jury, like, so my client has IBS. Here is a copy of their medical file showing how much they just take wild, massive shits. And unfortunately, at the time that the feds were coming in, they were taking a fat, massive dump. I mean, this is the content people want, right? Wait, I'll just wait. What did I do? What happened? Not the puzzle table secrets. Ali, have you been repainting jigsaws to make them easier to do? No. Actually, that would make them harder to do. Because the piece cuts are all different. I miss stretching canvases. Sorry, I'm just catching. Digi, I like that. Whenever I buy a new sketchbook, I always use the first page to scribble some random lines. Yeah. I can't go to jail, I'll just stink up the joint. Exactly, it's like, Your Honor, we can't send my client to jail. They're gonna shit everywhere. They're gonna shit everywhere, and then everybody's gonna have a poopy time, and that goes against everyone's constitutional rights to not have a poopy time. This is right here in the Constitution. No poopy times. Yeah, I think we're getting towards the end of stream. That's usually when I start just losing my mind and babbling. Your Honor, have you seen how stupid the toilets and cells are? My client has IBS. God, imagine if IBS was a valid defense against going to jail. That would be amazing. I would use it all the time. Just so I could say, like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals of the jury, my client, oh, you give them one slice of cheese, and they are farting up atrociously noxious gas clouds for a week. In prison, they're not going to be able to control their diet. They're just gonna fart cloud out everybody in the joints. And that's inhumane. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we can't do that. We can't do that to my client. We can't do that to their cellmates. That may be awaiting, you know, like innocent convictions, you know? We can't do that. Just ain't right. It's stupid. I love this. Great content. 10 out of 10 recommend. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary pals of the chat, I present to you the poopy defense. You give them a slice of cheese. Oh, I like that one. Ladies and gentlethems. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor, have you ever just had to take a really, really fat dump and then the FBI knocks on your door? That's so stupid. Okay, our underpainting is done. We gotta wait for it to dry, so I will wait for it for next week. The next time that I bust out this painting, so it may not be the next stream, but I will label the stream that it is a painting stream when I do. Yeah, I'm gonna sketch on top of it, probably with colored pencils so that I can actually see. I'm gonna have the references up on screen, and then we'll do the sketch next time. And we'll see if... The sketch is probably gonna take a while, I'm gonna be honest. Like, we chose a complicated but very cool perspective to do the painting from. Maybe it gives me a good excuse to go out to a park and lay in a field of flowers, and then get chased out by the cops for laying in a field of flowers. But it'll be worth it if I can get a good perspective shot. But yeah, we'll do that, we'll sketch, and we'll see how far we get in the sketch. The sketch might take up the whole stream the next time, but if it doesn't, then we'll start painting. Wunderbar. Martina! If you want the toot zip file, just say so. Martina, only if you're here. But I don't want to steal everyone's bits of giving you farts. But I know they make you happy, so I would want to, like, have a special redeem for you, where it's just like, this redeem is for Martina and Martina only. And it's Martina requests one toot. What? Chat, is this cringe? Guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Oh, what was the one? There was one in Skate that made me laugh so much, and it was just like, bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes. And it's like, it's me, I'm a non-binary hoe. Hey, Chris, how are you? Good morning, Chris. Chris, we will hang out soon. I'm just still waiting on my stupid state return. And then we will go and hang out at the pinball bar. I hope that Split The split game has been going well with Arthur. Judges should call the jury chat. Oh, okay, now I see. Hi, Mal. Hola, Mal. Chat is this cringe. Your Honor, we implore you that you sentence this as based. Your Honor, if the pog fits, then you must acquit. No. As a non-binary hoe, I feel seen. Right? Right, Fruitsy? It's just good. Yeah, thanks, the state. Yeah, Rene, you're the one that gives Martina special toots. If you give me your permission and your grace, I will gladly put in a special Martina button that is just the toot button for Martina to request ad nauseum. Because we love Martina. Split fiction slaps, and yesterday... Oh, that's cool! Here, let me give you a shout out. This is one of my offline friends, Chris. And Chris plays games. So, you can give a follow to Chris. Chris has been a friend for... God, Chris, have we been friends for like 8 years now? Fuck. How did that happen? New Cheek Face album has every man, woman, and child, and those who identify as a man, woman, or a child. Oh, Sen, what's a photo? Some big number like that. Yeah. You're on the defendant is being cringe under oath. Okay. We're not getting anything else done. Now we're just being ridiculous. I'm gonna find someone to raid out to. Like I've mentioned before, I know y'all are just trying to help, but when I pull up my screen for trying to find a raid target, I can't read chat. And then I feel really bad for ignoring suggestions because I'm not trying to. I just can't read chat. So I'm gonna drag my need to exercise. Ah, have a good ring fit. Get so strong, Fruitsy. Thank you for stopping by. Hold on, let me give a shout out to you. If you're not following Fruitsy, you absolutely should. Fruitsy has a cool as hell overlay where when you chat in the... God damn it. Okay, 41 seconds from now I'm going to shout out Fruitsy. But yeah, Fruitsy has a cool as hell overlay that when you chat in the chat, you get a little slime creature, and it's your pet, and it's your pet forever, and you can customize it and do different things that carry over from stream to stream. And it's really, really cool. Big inspo. Yeah, no, Fruitsy is a great inspiration for Vipo. Mal is a great inspiration for Vipo too. Mal built a whole fucking subway station in a month. In a cave. God, I wish I could just keep doing shoutouts without having to wait. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, those are good pools. Congrats on your pools, senpai. Congrats. Those are good. I really like the star hollow on that card. Yeah, I highly recommend Mal's setup. Also, Mal did a chat thing recently where all of the chatters are going to be little ghosts. And I'm peer pressuring Mal into doing a Pac-Man that comes and eats all the people in chat. But only if you want to, Mal. And yeah, Fruitsy has a great setup too, and great taste in music as well. So, let's get, yeah. You said that with the intonation. Yeah, no, that was the reference. Would a depressed person make this? Yes. Mal, yes. As a fellow depressed person. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We're dragging our asses. Alright, let's see. Where can I send you? Who's online? Do we have a friend online? Do we... Ooh, there's people doing art. More art could be really good. Continue some of the vibes. Oh my god, a lot of people are streaming right now. Jesus. Decision paralysis. Ooh. Okay. Oh man, there's so many good artists right now. Okay, I'm gonna send you over to someone that is a very chill art streamer. I don't know them personally, so please be on your best behavior. Don't scrungle unless the streamer starts scrungling, okay? Because if you do, I will kick your ass, and by that I mean I will time you out from my stream if I catch you acting a fool. So yeah, be on your best behavior. We're gonna go over to Selson, who has a really, really cool setup, really beautiful art, and that I haven't watched in a bit, but the last couple of times I've watched has just been a really nice, chill experience. So really good, like, co-working vibes as well. So let's send them some love, and yeah, be good. Have a great day. Have a great weekend ahead, and thank you all for being here. It's really, really fun. Also, they're super, super lurker friendly as well. So, yeah. And now we just kind of sit here and stare at each other while we do the awkward waiting for the countdown to finish. And